Is 2026's The Beauty a thing of perfection?
Or a beautiful disaster? Find out next on the cutting room floor.
Dun, 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 dun. Look at my pretty face. Dun, dun, dun.
What's up, misfits and metalheads? Welcome to another episode of the cutting room floor. We are from the band Cut Like This. I am Thorn Black.
I'm Rose Blood.
And today we are talking about The Beauty, currently streaming on FX, but I don't think they have their own channel, so they're hosted by Disney Plus / Hulu. So if you have that jam, you can go and check this out. But first, we have a brand new live show coming up April 11th in New York City at Lucky 13th with the Amatory Murder and Cherry Delight. Tickets on sale now. Go grab them. Rose, why don't we dive into this one, and why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
All right. Well, this is a very interesting, it's actually based off of a comic book that ran on Image Comics.
I liked Image Comics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so this comic book was created by Jason A. Hurley and Jeremy Hahn. And then it was adapted into this TV series by none other than Mr. American Horror Story himself, Ryan Murphy.
Nice.
And Matthew Hodgson, who is the writer for Glee. This is a very star-studded affair. We got super famous models and musicians all throughout this show. There's a lot of little cheeky nods here and there to different things.
Well, for those who don't know, tell them, what is The Beauty about?
So The Beauty specifically, it's about two FBI agents, Cooper and Jordan, and they are investigating a killer STD that offers you a chance to transform into your most beautiful self with hideous, explosive side effects.
Oh, yeah.
So they're investigating this STD, and it leads to all of this whole big government conspiracy. There's assassins after them. There's people just straight up spontaneous combusting,
literally
just into just meaty
just
chunks of nastiness. And it all circles around this medication created by a man named Byron Frost. And he is, Byron Forst, I'm sorry. And he is an incredible, just a super rich billionaire. And he's running this pharmaceutical company. And of course, looking for the next big thing in beauty. And this thing is created. And it turns out that it can, not only be passed via this, they call it the jab, but it can also be passed via sex. So then that also turns into a whole black market for bumping uglies with all kinds of beautiful people.
And of course, a rich person wants to sell it to everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Starting with his rich friends and then everybody, because, that's the whole point. Like, how much money can we make off of it? Forget the side effects, right?
Yep.
Who cares about those?
Who cares about those?
They're not going to read the small print.
I got to give a shout out specifically to the insane, awesome assassin that's chasing after Coop and Jordan. Oh my God. So he literally just goes by Assassin. I don't think they ever actually give you his actual name. He's played by Anthony Ramos, who is a Broadway singer. He was in Hamilton. That was his big, that's a pretty big freaking deal, right off the bat. He was actually the original actor for a dual role in Hamilton that's very important, playing John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton. So, hey, that's a very important role. And he was also in the actual filmed version of it as well, because they used mostly the original cast from the Broadway show.
That's cool.
For the film. So that's really amazing. And he's also been in a lot of movies and stuff like that, including Godzilla, King of Beasts. That's the one with the blue cover where he's like, straight up into the sky
That's
and stuff.
That's a good poster.
And he is a delight. This character is so cool.
I love
he is
this
the
character
coolest.
and the way he acts.
Yeah, you know me. I love a really good villain,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a really hot villain, and he ends up
A
becoming
lot of personality.
yeah, he ends up becoming unlikely friends with one of his targets, and basically, this guy is played. This character Jeremy is played by Jeremy Pope, who's also actually a singer and a theater performer and stuff. So you see them a lot in like interviews together, and you can tell they have like a very easy camaraderie with each other because they both came from this kind of theatrical background and stuff like that. Amazing. This little dynamic duo, oh my God. I could easily watch like a whole side series just following
So could
them.
I, right?
Just following those two
yeah.
characters. Because what cool characters they are.
I like how this show tells its story. They start telling the story, and you're following like a group of characters, and then you start following another group of characters, and then kind of like another group of characters. So when I first started watching, I'm thinking, most shows kind of center around like, the same like 2-3 people, but like the entirety with like, you bounce around to a couple of people, but it really stays kind of locked on there. They don't really tell a story like that, and I appreciate it because I wasn't expecting it. Like they will give you a story in this character, and then you won't see them for maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, and you're
definitely.
just like, like, wait. But I thought, okay, I guess that's not what we're doing here. But it works so well. I really enjoy how we jump from pockets of characters and their interactions and their stories and what's going on with them. We jump around a little bit several times. And then they start like piecing them together even more, where it's like, okay, now you have all this information on them, and them. Now we're going to start like locking their stories in more and bringing all of this about the beauty, which is what it's all about, together a lot more solidly. And it was just a really cool, interesting way to tell a story, and they developed such strong characters that way as well.
For sure. And it's a variety of different types of characters. Another character that I absolutely adored is Franny Forrest, who is the wife of Byron Forrest, played by the incomparable Isabella Rossellini. Okay, this was like, she's older now, and she's still an amazing actress and has amazing beauty and stature to her. But this was the woman from Death Becomes Her. This was like, she is so gorgeous, and
such a
she
character,
is
such a strong character. In the show,
Her dialogue is so cutting, and this is very much a critique on the culture of beauty, you know what I mean? And this very commodified, like a very, transactional way that we see beauty, and the way that we see, women and their value once, they're not as beautiful anymore. So she's this very disillusioned, incredibly rich woman who is just not having it. But Byron absolutely, like, as much as he fights and bickers with her, he also incredibly respects her, because she's the only person that he lets talk to him like that, and she has some lines that are just woo.
Yeah, she sure does.
She is the roast queen, okay? Like, for, in nomine patri, like, you're done after she tears you down. Like, she is just absolutely vicious and cutting with her critiques, and she is not having it with this whole. She has like a very unique style. She is herself, and she refuses to be anything else.
I like how strong of a character and personality she is, and she's the only one that he'll really listen to one way or the other. I mean, he may not like it and ignore her, but he respects her.
Absolutely.
And I don't think he respects anybody. Period,
not at all. Not at all.
Except for her.
Not even. Not even his children. Like, nobody. There's literally no one else.
Oh, and noteworthy,
cares.
Byron Forrest. A lot of these characters, well, not a lot, but some of these characters,
you get to see them in two different forms.
Because of what the beauty does. And it's a grotesque transformation, which is why it landed on our show in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Because the transformation,
the body horror
is just like
real.
Body horror filled, and the effects of what can go wrong when it does go wrong are very violent and then explosive, which you will see. Noteworthy that Byron Forrest is transformed into Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Ashton's show, because when I didn't know too much about the beauty and I just saw posters, all I saw for the posters was his face. So I thought it was his show. You just follow him the entire time. And it is not like that. So whether you do or don't like Ashton, he's doing a good job in here. And he's not the entirety, but his character is important, And I love that, like, some characters are split. It's like you're played by him, but now because of grotesque transformation, which quite enjoyable. I got I got some inspiration vibes of the substance in this show, but they take it.
Although I will say that the
completely different way. They do their own thing with it, and I'm happy with it.
The Beauty comic book absolutely preceded the movie The Substance, but this show did not precede the movie The Substance, and they definitely saw the movie The Substance before they made this show. 100%, 1000%. But regardless, I was a little hesitant to check this one out. And I'm glad that I did. I'm really glad that I did. So, with all of that being said, let's wrap this up real quick.
Wrap it
We're gonna,
up button.
Oh, you're hitting that wrap it up button. All right, we rate via chainsaw here with 5 chainsaws being a cinematic masterpiece, a thing of beauty. All right, 1 chainsaw. It's putt-putting in the corner. You're not gonna be chopping up any abominations with that. No, you can't even trim your nails with it. You're like, it's not even doing it. So, how many chainsaws does The Beauty get for you? Season 1 of The Beauty.
I'm going to give The Beauty Season 1 a 5 out of 5, actually.
Whoa!
This is it's surprisingly good and enjoyable. So I say surprising because I didn't know about it. I hadn't really heard much about it. Just heard like a little buzz, like, oh, it's good or something, or like a poster or two. I didn't really know what it was about. And coming into it, I just love how they told the stories. I love how I got so attached to these characters, whether I liked them or did not like them. I got attached to the character development, the way they did it, the way they told the stories, the actors that they had, the explosive violence of the side effects of the nastiness. Like,
it's nasty.
It's just an engaging show. I ended up watching. So I started watching it a little bit late, and I ended up catching up before the series was done without trying to, because it was so engaging. I just kept putting an episode on, and the episodes were like a little bit shorter. They're between like 30 minutes and an hour. Some would be like 30 minutes, some would be like 45. You know what I mean? They're like, but they're not an hour long. Also, a lot more easily digestible as a show, because sometimes I don't want to watch a full hour long show. I just don't. I do want something shorter. This checks all the boxes for all of those things. It's slightly shorter. It's really engaging. It's well done. I kept being like, well, do we have another episode? And that's a really good show when you have me just binging it when I'm not trying to binge it.
Absolutely.
So, Rose, what are you going to give this one?
I am also giving this one 5 chainsaws, 5 whirring chainsaws with blood dripping off of them and goo. This show is gooey as hell, okay? There's like so much madness going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intrigue. I am a big fan of like solving the mystery. I think that Cooper is played by Evan Peters from American Horror Story, of course, and obviously some, plenty of other roles, including I really liked him as Quicksilver in X-Men.
I did too.
But he's been in tons of horror stuff. He's an amazing actor, and I'm always happy to see him on screen. I think everybody put in a great job on this.
Right.
I was a little hesitant. I was worried that it would be too much like The Substance. It definitely has, sheens of that on it, but it is its own thing, very much so.
Totally
and it has
agree.
a great story, great characters. Those assassins, like I mentioned, are amazing. They are my favorite characters of this show. And Isabella Rossellini, absolutely magnificent. There is a little nod to her role in Death Becomes Her later on in the show, like towards the end. I'm not going to tell you about it, but it's in the there's like a 2-episode finale, and it's in there that you see a little nod to Death Becomes Her, which I thought was really sweet, and I really enjoyed it. Freaking fantastic. bloody and gross and nasty.
You
Nasty.
have your homework for the weekend. You're welcome. We are from the band Cut Like This. Don't forget, we just put a new music video out called Be My Valentine. Give us some streams and some comments. Show our band some love. We are working on new music. We're going to have more throughout the year, so stay tuned. That's all for now. We are out.